everybody. We got a great episode today. We have a lot of stuff going on today. Before we get started, just a little personal thing. You guys can probably tell I'm a big Padres fan. They have an 8-game winning streak going on. They're 1.5 games behind the Dodgers, and their best player isn't even playing well. Tatis isn't even playing that well lately. So very pumped up about that. We got 2 more games, one today and tomorrow. If we win that, we're in first place in the National League, which actually would kind of suck because we play some of the hotter teams. So anyway, had to get that out. All right, so let's talk about the market a little bit today. Market went up, I want to say 1% today. Ours went up about 3.5% today. And again, we're going to just beat the same drum today. So if you haven't bought anything yet, you have time to do it. I was actually talking to somebody earlier today, and they were thinking, oh, it was too late. And, could you really make money in the stock market? And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's literally like a baby full of candy. You just steal the candy from the baby. It's simple. It's free money. It's like a guy handing out $50 bills on the corner. Like, if you don't want to take it, that's your issue, but he's giving away free money. And the stock market's doing that as well. So let's talk about some trends today. I looked at overall kind of the biggest movers in my watch list and my holdings list today. I noticed again trend that we're going to hit on today. So first of all, retail stocks are going up. Okay, huge going up. So Red Robin Group has been on a tear lately. It went on 11% today. And if we look on that, it basically was at 1180, just call it that. And it's now over almost at 15. It's up 22% in the last week, and most of that's just in the last couple days. But obviously people are feeling really good about people going out. We actually had something happen here in San Diego, which is really cool. And this guy earned his vote. He's getting my vote, absent doing something stupid in the future. But we had one of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors. They basically manage the county. It's kind of like the city council for the whole county, except there's not really a mayor of the county. And so he was actually on TV yesterday, and they're actually voting, I think today, to officially, how would you want to say it? To officially just disregard California Governor Gavin Newsom's little color coding system on when the businesses reopen. Because it turns out that you have to, in order to get businesses to open to half capacity, you have to have less than 1 COVID case per 100,000 people, which is just like nothing. Like you can get a vaccine and get still more than 1 per 100,000 people. It's just kind of the way things work. And so they just had enough of it. They're sick of, sitting here having to kiss the ring and beg our dear royal governor, His Highness, to open up. And they just said, we're just voting. We're going to allow all the businesses to fully open up in the county. And we're just saying, the heck with you. We're not listening to you anymore, which is fair enough. I mean, if you have a reasonable law or a reasonable regulation, then people are going to follow it. But the minute they think you're not being reasonable, they're going rogue on you. And so our county board of supervisors is going rogue. And you see stocks like Red Robin going up because you see businesses are starting to open up and you see where things are going. And at the very end of this, we're going to talk about something that I read today, which actually is kind of funny when it comes to this. All right, we look at Children's Place. They are a mall store. They deal with children's clothes. They do Build-A-Bear Workshop. They do a bunch of different things. That one's up 6% again today. If we look at them for the last week, they are on a nice little push on an upward trend, so they're going up in the right place. And again, these would be COVID impacted stocks for sure. Now, the next one, we're going to talk about betting. This is a huge area, and it is taking off lately. So one stock that hasn't really taken off lately as much as it should, and I know it will going forward, is this stock Every. It's one of my favorite ones. It is 100% buy. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. They basically do all the ATMs and the financial card swiping stuff for the casinos in Las Vegas. So the more people that are in the casinos, the more people that are in Las Vegas, the more money they're going to make, the higher their stock price. So they went up 7% today. They were actually, I think, my #1 performing stock for the longest time. And I ended up buying more stock at a little bit higher of a cost basis I normally do. I don't normally do that, but I love that stock this much. So when you look at this inside our spreadsheet, you're going to see that the increase rate isn't as high as it used to be. It's mainly because we diluted or undiluted the share price in a sense. So, but this was a nice one as well. We took a look at Caesars, a couple different stocks that we're looking at that we own here that we want to look at. So Caesars Entertainment went up another 7% today. We take a look at it for the week, and it's on a nice little push. It was down at 49. Now it's almost at 60. We look at some of the news that impacts it. Oh, we'll touch on that one in a second. They're basically just saying, look, Caesars has an ESPN deal. They're doing exclusive betting on the ESPN website. And they're basically saying the stock already surged based on that ESPN deal, why it has much further to rise. So it's a nice little write-up on that. And if you haven't gotten in on Caesars, it's free money, guys. It's my #1 performing stock. I mean, it's literally handing out free money. So that went up 17% over the week and 7% today. Then we look at DraftKings. DraftKings is up to, gosh, I want to say, where do we put DraftKings at? DraftKings, I bought it at 34. It's sitting at 48. Again, they do, that's the official fantasy league for ESPN. And they're basically saying DraftKings already had a huge reach. I mean, they're basically virtually a monopoly. And they're basically, the ESPN deal is going to extend their reach. More reach equals more money equals more profit equals larger stock price equals more money for you, equals whatever you want to buy. And for me, it's the down payment on the beach house. So that is going really, really well today. And then we have other people writing articles, how Wall Street is saying about DraftKings stock after the deal with ESPN. So there's basically a whole bunch of press going on with that. One stock that took a little bit of a bath today, it was kind of weird. It was kind of isolated on this with Carnival. That went down 11% today. That being said, I am not really big on the cruise ships. It's not that I don't think they're a good stock. I have owned them before. It's just that I have other priorities that I want to focus on. But if you're looking for a good stock, this one will come up today. Or I'm not saying it will come up today, but this stock we're talking about today will come up. I was talking about that with somebody earlier today. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, people are doubting whether people are going to go on cruise ships anymore. And I'm like, everybody who's retired, do you know how many people go on 3 to 4 cruises per year? And that is literally the quality of life for their retirement. I mean, it's just insane. Of course you're going to do that. And even the person I was talking to, they're like, I want to go on a cruise. And like during COVID, that's how people are thinking. So the minute that a vaccine is created and there's an overall sense that there's a safety mechanism and that things are officially being tamped down, you're going to see this stock skyrocket. So would I buy this again? Yeah, maybe. I'm going to pull some money out of Yuko and I might reallocate this toward Carnival. But this is definitely a good stock to consider. It has a 75% hold. It's mainly just because of the market niche it's in right now, but something to look at. Norwegian's also another one to look at as far as that goes. So we looked at top movers today. Top movers down. Nothing that really own here is on here. Carnival hit at 10% basically. Is there anything else on here that we see? No, nothing. Now, stocks are going up. The big trend that I noticed here were pharmaceuticals, pharmaceutical, energy, pharmaceutical. I'm not sure what that is, but we see the pharmaceuticals moving up. Those are kind of weird. They don't really follow COVID, and they're kind of unicorns. Like they can just jump up at any given time, and we don't necessarily know how they're going to be impacted. All right, we're going to touch on a couple things here in a little bit, but for right now, we're going to go to our spreadsheet. So overall, have a nice little mover. Our #1 top performer is Caesars. Again, it's a 228% gain. That means we're moving toward a quadrupling of our investment. After that, let's see, Signet Jewelers at 181, almost tripled. Crestwood Equity, it's a REIT at 161. Redwood Trust, another REIT, 175. PVAC is our oil company at 141. Azul Airlines, that's the Brazilian airline. It's about ready to double. And Yuko, which took a hit on oil prices, is almost back in the black. And when it does, I'm going to sell some of this just to free up some money. I have a really high investment in this, so I'll probably pull like $4,000 out of it and reinvest it in some other things. Maybe it's Carnival, but we'll take a look at it. But overall, from what we invested, just the raw buys on what we actively invested, we're at a 50% gain. And based on the initial deposits of about 34,000, we're more than doubled our money. And this is just a matter of a few short months. So we're on pace to do 200,000 by the end of the year. But realistically, it's not going to be linear. We're going to see a much larger gain. All right. So one stock that I was looking at today that I wanted to take a look at, we're going to put a limit order buy-in for that, is Houghton Mifflin. I always called it Houghton Mifflin. I don't know why, but my wife corrected me on that. So we looked at our upside, and basically we own most of it. This one's an oil stock, Texas Hospitality, and then Houghton Mifflin jumped up. And this one has, the reason I wanted to buy this one was this one has, like, when it jumps fast. And so generally if it goes down, it's going to go down a little fast, then up fast. But this is the #1 publisher of school textbooks. Typically Pearson and Houghton Mifflin are the two. But for elementary and high school, Houghton Mifflin is the #1 publisher. So they have a nice market share built into them already. And if their upside that we have, and again, this is just the ratio of the February price, which is the top price, or the price right before the epidemic hit the stock market, and the current day's price. If it's hitting over 3% at this point, then I definitely want to get in on that. So we put a limit order in for $2, 750 shares, $1,500, gives us an upside of about 3.3. If it fills, if it doesn't fill, so be it. I don't really care. But if it fills, it gives us a nice one that we're going to add to that. All right. So with that, we'll take a look at their performance over the last 3 months. Again, when optimism went up in June, this thing jumped up really quickly. And as you saw the protests and the COVID numbers go down, it went down. And it's been relatively flat. But I don't think this one's going to last very long. It may go down a little bit farther. Who knows? If it does, it fills, and it may go up. So definitely a good stock to buy. I'm definitely looking at it actively. And, oh, we got to put the buy-in. So we'll put the buy-in for $2, 750, and give ourselves 3 months and after hours time to do it. All right, done. All right, so a couple things to look at. Again, we're not really going to look at this information here necessarily. But one of the things that I saw here earlier is, and it's funny because they don't even get political. This is CNN business, right? This is CNN, basically the network that hates Trump and is wanting to get Joe Biden in office. And their headline is a Joe Biden win and GOP holding the Senate, which is like virtually sure going to happen, could be a nightmare scenario for stocks. So it's like, okay, if Joe Biden wins, the stock market's going to go down. Can you believe CNN wrote that? Like, if CNN wrote that, how? I mean, this had to get past the editorial staff at CNN for them to write an article like that. They're the biggest cheerleaders for Joe Biden there is, whether you like him or not. If you like Joe Biden, you know it's true. If you don't like Joe Biden, you know it's true. And yet it still got through because it's that much of an obvious thing. And it's not just some like little article they're writing. It's the headline article for CNN business, which means that this is a very, very important topic for them. And the only reason they're writing this is they're concerned he's going to lose. All right, so let's talk about COVID. This is what's driving a lot of what we're doing here. Again, we're going to talk about some specific things that we've seen here. No deaths the day before. Big shocker. Again, we have businesses closed and nobody's dying. Cumulative cases, basically the deaths. Look how flat this is. These are all the cases. These are all the deaths. I mean, it's about as low to zero as you could possibly get. New cases by day. Again, there's the trend line. It's basically a black diamond ski slope. Daily testing. They're having a hard time. It's really having a hard time clearing this level right here. I mean, they have all the money in the world to buy tests. They have all the capability in the to buy tests, and yet they're having a really tough time testing people and finding new people to test. The average, basically 4.32% of positive tests. That is, look at the trend line. It's probably right around right here over the last few months. Hospitalizations are plummeting. I mean, we're now in double digits. We haven't been in double digits forever. If you look back in July, we're almost at 200. We're at double digits, plummeting. This is probably what's spurring the County Board of Supervisors, I was telling you, to basically give a thumb in the eye of the governor. Hospital beds, I mean, basically 200. And again, these are COVID patients. That means if you break your leg and you're in the hospital and they test you and you have COVID, then you are a COVID bed. Deaths by day. Look at this. I mean, it's cratering. There's days where there's nothing there. I mean, it's literally, the trend line is nothing. Age distribution, unless you're over 80, you don't really have too much reason to worry. Unless you live right by the border checkpoints here in San Diego, this is where Mexico is, you don't really have much to worry about. And then the last people that died, look at the ages: 89, 72, 83, 65, 83, 89, 54, 85. I mean, it's ridiculous. These people, this would have been the regular dying. This would have been the ages of people dying anyway. So again, the numbers don't lie. It's basically, this is your leading, this is what's going to lead future events when it comes to COVID and public policy. But what I will tell you, when it goes back to this, the election is going to be, obviously you're going to see a big movement in the market right after the election. So if you want to make a lot of profit, you basically need to get your money in. So get some stocks in, start buying, get your feet wet, get a sense on what you're doing. If you have any questions, reach out to me, put a message on the video. If you want a Robinhood account, click on here. There's a link, or click on the link in the video description, and there is, you can basically open up an account and get a free stock on me. Also, there is a link to this spreadsheet where you can actually download it, use it for yourself, customize it, make it better, lie to people, tell them it's yours, you create it, whatever you want to do. There's a link in there to download that as well. But overall, and this will change shortly when I update my Yuko stuff, but projections were projected when we're all done with this, and we don't have a definite time frame, but it'll probably be in the next 6 to 9 months to have a gain of about 310,000, or have a portfolio.
To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click